Every January, the Nyahbinghi Theocracy Order commemorates the pivotal 1930s event of the Buckley's Uprising. Here to tell us more about this are members of this organization, Ras Iyah and Ras Iron. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Fraternal greetings. Give thanks for the invitation at this time, because it's very hard to see. Sometimes we don't get the airwave that we like to, but we're thankful for this time.
Oh, you are certainly welcome. So, gentlemen, we will begin. What sparked Buckley Uprising?
Well, we'd like to say thank you to the powers of the Divine Creator for giving us this magnitude to emphasize what is the invitation to what sparked the Buckley Uprising. And we'd like to say what sparked it is something that was outlined for better wages. That's the most important factor that we would like to highlight at this time, because we look at seeing that much political emphasis does look like it sound like it's political standing was it, but it was for better wages, the condition that we were facing in those times, knowing that 1935 wasn't an easy time, at 101 years just after emancipation, the proclamation that was 1834. So we see these things highlighting, and we say it's time now we see what changes can be effective in 1935.
Okay.
All right, so we had the uprising because of low wages and poor working conditions. It's safe to say that those issues were not resolved, which is what sparked the uprising. All right, looking on now, what does that represent? What does the uprising represent for the Federation and the Caribbean at large?
Brilliant question, James. I would like to say, well, on the aspect of the uprising and what it represents for St. Kitts and Nevis and the wider part of the country and the regional part, we would like to know that in 1935, we even had population rate was dropping at a rapid time. So it wasn't easy, as you say, what kind of message that it is serving this time. The message that we are reaping the benefits now, we wasn't reaping it in the 1935, but at this time now we are reaping benefits. So we're saying we have to pay homage and tribute to those who sacrifice for what we're reaping today.
Follow-up question, Ras Iyah, those benefits, what are those benefits to your mind?
Well, right now we couldn't even sit down in a studio like this and talk, so this is a benefit.
Working condition.
We couldn't even have a building for our own because it was just house. Yeah. So benefits are changing. Now we see upstage houses, of 3 storage, sometimes it's 4 storage. Since the large aspect, but once ago it was a small, within 10 people are now living in that condition. Right. So it wasn't easy for them kind of time. So we say, what we see here now, we can't be ungrateful to say, oh, we're not taking that. We have to say thank you for the sacrifice that you made, that we can reap these benefits to them.
Ras Iron, anything to add?
Yes, I would like to add to that as well. 1935 was a dreadful time in the country and throughout the Caribbean. It was a turning point, as I know it. Sometimes it was more like Marcus Garvey time, where he was trying to get black people to recognize themselves and to love themselves and proud to be black. And those were the things that they were highlighting. And in 1935, during the Buckley's event, it was a deplorable time during those times. One of the things is that the ones in Buckley's who agitate and fight for incentive wages, the other plantation at the time, how I know it, that they was giving their workers an increase during the time, and those who fight for it didn't get it, and those who did not fight get it. So that they kind of spark a kind of revolution, so to speak, because in December we always look for this wage. It happened in this time too. Okay. When we get an extra something, we go home and we get the cake and the ham and the sodas and all them things. I mean, this time is more different, So them time was a more dreadful time for our people. And one of the things is that we are here now and we are able to choose the profession that we need. We never had those opportunities. We become prime ministers, teacher, whatever we desire to become after our ancestors' sweat and sacrifice that they made. So that is one of the things I'd like to add to that statement. Give thanks.
And to add to it, we have a team, so we like to give the general public what the team is. This team is recognizing embracing, restoring, preserving the legacy of our martyrs in the Buckley Uprising 1935. And why we say this team, because we find we need, just recently I heard a clip that from the cabinet secretary outlining what the administration is going to do towards the Buckley Uprising, and they're looking to have a committee family, which in a committee had done family under the farm administration, so it's just a follow-in to carry on the work that wasn't really faster within what the committee had establishing under the farm administration. So we hope that this initiative will be more light to the general public.
Okay.
All right, so speaking of the annual commemoration of the event, let's talk about it. How do you commemorate it? What's going on this year?
Well, basically, we just come to a way that we find ways and means of making sure in the laying of the wheat is one of the most important factors of how we commemorate the event. Because we just don't go up there to say, oh, we got there and we just talk. We have an initiative stand that we lay a week to put forward what the people who have get murdered and what was injured and those who get jailed, we recognize in that time of the event to let us know it wasn't something just in a walk in the park. It was something that was stayed to make our people have a sense of idea of what we're facing from that time to know what we are seeing. Some of the changes still are effective to us, because when we say what are the conditions of some of the wages in some of the workplace, at the time still, we're still seeing our people under the economical ladder, even though we have some position in some jobs. So we say at this point in time, the commemoration is a hallmark to make sure that we recognize the sacrifice that our ancestors made. Because we have a billboard too, and the billboard outline the ultimate sacrifice that we salute our ancestors, because they say they had to take a chance. The commitment what they was doing wasn't easy, but they had to do it because they know it was something that will be further for the longest generation to come.
Can I add to that?
Yes, go ahead.
In this time, as we Virgin outlined, that the commemoration is something significant to us because our people, and this is where we know say the democracy of our people start to get recognized for the sacrifice that they made, same as still, So I here to highlight and to bring education to the people that we can't forget where we come from and the sacrifice that our martyrs made for I to be here in this time,
Yes.
and to get all the opportunities that we so desire. But we are still fighting to make sure that the commemoration and the recognition is there for people to remember, because they are our real martyrs, our real heroes and sheroes who make that sacrifice for us. So it's our duty to see that our martyrs being recognized, not only be recognized as a hero, but also to have the day as a national holiday as well too.
So where in Buckley's rest iron is the replayed?
On the aspect, we have a lamppost with a normally lady week, but once ago when we were in the yard, I don't know when we want to go back and something, but once ago we were in the yard, and the estate itself, we used to have the area with lady week and an old chapter working aspect in the estate yard. So now we have been in the street, we use one of the lampposts in the area and lady week and that area just to commemorate the aspect of our ancestors.
Oh, okay.
Well, I wanted to ask you, considering that the laying of the wreath is quite significant, and you were here obviously to engage the public, speaking of your theme as well, do you get the sense that the public really understands how significant the Buckley's Uprising is? Because when you talked about laying the wreath, you talked about martyrdom, I'm thinking, okay, well, there were obviously individuals who lost their lives. There must have been stories there that you might or might not be aware of. Do you feel that the public connects with that?
Good question. One thing I don't think that the public really have the analysis of what the history is about. Now, why I say that, we have a book written, well, a few books, 3 books in particular. One of them is major, written by our former governor under Black administration, support for the Indians. And he outlined in his book 40 years of struggle. And in that book, give you a good detail and give you the full idea what really happened. Because England, when they get the report from the Moyne Commission, they block the information from sharing to the whole world because they know at that time it was war. So they didn't want that there to let them look that bad in the eyes of the public. So where you see now, but it is done okay, and then he had great man born and from Commoner to King about that, and he had a little detail about the Buckley Uprising, and then the Labour Party had formulated a book called For the Good We Can Do. For the good that we can do, is a book now highlighting the time of the struggle in the political arena, and is able to enhance them by finding that even that the Labour Party don't educate the people and all, even that because they come from the bowel of this movement. Not in the moment at the time there was no representation in unionists because there was a law against unionism. So when you find these details and you find the party what formulate from that aspect and don't try to hand it basically to the generation coming is a failure.
Well, that means that you're talking about it is even more important. Obviously, and you're commemorating it.
It's one of the things we like to see happen too. From the group aspect is that we like to see this event even reach into the school as well too. So the youth them in this time can have some sort of knowledge about what took place in 1935. So at least you can stay with them, you know what I mean? And also having the media houses highlight it as well too. It's important, you know what I mean? As we say, the turning point for us, the things that we can do today, we couldn't do them yesterday, you know.
So Ras Iron, do you have a younger generation that is following this movement and that you will keep it alive for the future?
Yeah, I would like to say, one thing with Nyahbinghi Theocracy Order, we don't have much young ones in, but the ones them who are young, we are impacting it in them because they don't come to the celebration, so they will be urging them at the further time that they can impact themselves into the information sharing. And one thing I would like to, even not just for the Rastafari aspect, because it's a national fund, it is at the celebration, is to make sure that the youth at the virgin outline, the school itself, take an initiative standard, and by next year, 2024, they can start using and all the guns of as January coming to pack and they return back to school. They let the little children have some kind of field trip to the area, not just Buckley, but the white section of the island of Stinky, so they can have a feel of what the things that was told within the movement of that time. Because John was a message of the movement in 1925. So that's why you say we had a lot of things moving, and women play a critical role in standing up for the men them in that time, because the militias them were willing to kill a lot of our men, but the women them standing in the park, so the militias them had to change their avenue, even though they fire shot, but they didn't kill the women, but there was 3 men get killed in that time. You see?
And I'd like to add to that, in the future event, we'd even like to see some kind of dramatizing, something to highlight the event, you know what I mean? Involve the youths them. We even say, during the time when that event sparked, the ones them march from plantation to different plantation, reach almost around the island. So we say we like to even have some kind of farmer, you know what I mean? Maybe a display,
In action.
you know, where we got ones and ones even going through the land too, and maybe stopping by wherever destination and highlight certain actual information that took place during the time that went. So the whole thing is to bring the whole aspect alive, you know what I mean? So people can, you know what I mean, gravitate to what we want to highlight as well. Too.
All right, well, in our final moments, 2 things really quickly. You plan to honor recipients this year, that's what we understand. Tell us about that, and also when and where the event will be held.
Good question again. We have 7 recipients in our honorary time of this year. That's the most we will come off on. So
Congrats.
we set it a full record this time.
Nice.
But really and truly, the honorary is something that we have taken initiative to, because we find some of the people who was particularly in the instrument of the movement, and especially those who get killed, won't really get recognized in our history. So we take it out of ourselves and say, well, we like to honor, even if they have the physical person here, we could have family relative be a part of this honorary. And one out of the honorary members of that 7 people, we have one, Thomas Fergus, and he was one who jailed in 1935 and spent 5 years in Antigua and Barbuda prison just for the uprising, because he was willing to take himself in the fight to save a betterment for the future generation. When we say that, we're saying that he went forward and take away the gun from the plantation owner.
Okay.
So that's what all in the estate, you see. But much of the things like this here, we don't really know, because they are in the archives, but it's true enough for people don't like to do their own research.
Yes.
So I would like to invite in the studio to do this thing, because even sometimes the way here, you are content initiative, or whoever else will be a part of the studio making in the future.
Yes.
They can say, well, yes, these are things that we can talk about now, and not that just having the Rastafari, not just having the Nyahbinghi Theocracy Order come here, but you all can invoke this here, because we want it to look like we are looking at, oh, the Nyahbinghi is the only name supposed to, we want the whole nation
I like
to
that.
be a part
Yes.
of this standard that we are setting on. And I didn't learn nothing about this in school. It's when I come out of school and being a part of the Nyahbinghi Theocracy Order alongside with our Virgin Ras Iyah, was Dabo and Ras Zambo was the initiative behind this movement, to see that the Buckley Uprising be all in the history of Saints and Nevis. Because out in England they have talked about it, but not here. That's it.
Yeah, the event would be held in Buckley's. That's after you pass the Buckley Company, the first turn in. The first part to turn in there by Karaja. Yeah, we're going to be there in the roadside, and we're going to be organizing inside the road, because we don't have no other area to host the event. I mean, once you come up there, you must find the spot, you know.
What time though?
We start from 3 o'clock to 6:30. So we're asking the general public to come out and be a part of this event, you know. It's a remarkable time in our life, you know what I mean? And we must be able to commemorate those who gone before us and those that make the sacrifice that we can benefit in this time, you know. So we give thanks.
And to add with what the Virgin say is, you see, we had a lot of initiative in honor the farmer mission. I mean, with Timothy, you're talking about Denzel Douglas-led administration, and this should have done established in a full view of lighting the annal of the stage of history, because he was the Prime Minister of the Federation for 20 years, and he know the initiative with him, because he is the man who always come in and talking about the same Thomas Fergus. So to see at the guns where he and the other members of his family at that time, they should have made that stand and make sure we have a holiday, we have a museum, we have the information shared in the curriculum of the education system, we have a national, we put the martyrs them as national heroes, and those who get injured and those who get jailed be at stars of merit in the highest order. And not in the honor of the Queen or her king, you know, we are honoring our people, you know.
Yes.
Honor.
Yes.
Remember that? So we play that kind of game with them there, but give thanks.
And that's not true.
Well,